welcome back to my channel. So if you're new to my channel, my name is RealRitaLynn. I am a lifestyle, fashion, and beauty content creator here on social media. So I know that I went live a couple days ago and I talked to you guys about starting a new series called Let's Just Be Real or Let's Be Real. And I want to go ahead and jump into that. Um, and just kind of get it started. So if you're new to my channel, hey y'all, hey, definitely subscribe, like, follow, comment, share, all that kind of good stuff. And if you're already a rebel, then you know what to do. Comment, support in any way that you can. I greatly appreciate it. So today I am coming to y'all live from my bedroom. I typically record. Hey Pam. I typically record my content in my dining room. I have like a grass wall, has a sign with my name on it and everything. But my kids have company over, so I can't do it this morning in my dining room. But I just finished watching a video from my good friend Simply Chandrell, and she went live because she was having technical issues and she didn't want to let her technical issues stop her from continuing to do the 100 days of content. So I'm pretty much doing the same thing. It's just I'm finding that my days are still very long, and I'm going through just dealing with life during my day. And so I haven't been as consistent as I want to. So I know I typically don't have time to record, edit, make it look fancy, all that kind of good stuff, which honestly is something I'm trying to move away from because that's just not reality for me. And I want to keep it as real as possible. So like I said, the start of this series is just to honestly keep it real. I really want to talk about why I started this channel and then just kind of catch you all up to right now. So with that being said, I'm just gonna start. So the reason I started this whole channel was because when I met a guy, and I think it always starts with a guy, but I met a guy when I was 15 years old, and I was 15. I was literally like maybe 2 or 3 weeks shy from turning 16, and at the time, my mom had just recently been divorced from her first husband, only husband. We just lost our house. This was a house that my mom worked so hard to get us into, but a lot of things started to transpire. None that had anything to do with like financial hardships or difficulties, but I think when you start to do well in life and you have people around you who don't want to see you do well or do better, they start to do things. And my mom definitely had someone who she thought was a friend in her life who, in my opinion, took an opportunity to really just stab her right in the face. And she did some, what I can now as an adult say, some underhanded, conniving things um, that caused my mom to lose our home that we grew up in. And we ended up moving to Oak Cliff. And I say that to preference that I grew up in an area called South Dallas, here in Dallas, Texas. Which, if you're from Dallas, Texas, South Dallas is pretty much known as like the hood. Um, I can say now as an adult that the area that I grew up in, mm, excuse me, y'all, it really wasn't the hood to me because the people that I lived around, they were nurses and teachers and even a couple of doctors. Like, it wasn't a bad area. I think just some of the things that happened in the area is what gave it like a bad name. But anyway, we ended up losing our house when I was 15. And I think that was one of the hardest things for my mom to ever go through, because she was a single mother of five, working as a nurse, literally working extremely long hours, y'all. I mean, it was crazy. Um, but she always did the best that she could. So, nevertheless, we ended up moving to Oak Cliff, into a 3 bedroom, 2 bathroom apartment. And the day we were moving in, I can remember this like it was yesterday, but the day that we were moving in, it was myself, my siblings, and some family members. We were moving everything in, and there was this guy that lived above us. Or sorry, yeah, my alarm's on. I'm only gonna try and stay on for about 9 to 10 minutes, so this series is probably gonna get pushed out. But there was a family living above us, and there was a guy standing outside, like over the stairs on the balcony, and he was watching us move in. And I saw him, he saw me, and I think at that moment I knew that he wanted to like talk to me. He wanted to try to pursue me in some way. And one of my closest friends was with me. And she's so funny. Her name was Cassandra. But one of my closest friends was with me, and yeah, we're 15 or 16, whatever. Um, and we got all the stuff moved in, and the guy came downstairs. Y'all, when he came downstairs, he didn't have no shirt on. Now, 15-year-old me, 16-year-old me, however you, whatever you want to say it, I thought that was really something. This boy done came downstairs with no shirt on. He had like these, his arms were cut up, and he had like a little muscles going on. Little muscles going on. I know better now, because I'm grown now, so I know what a full grown man body's supposed to look like. It was that girl. It was a mess. But um, um, he just sat there, like he didn't say anything. He just kind of watched the whole time as we were moving back and forth. And after we got everything moved in, um, I came outside. Me and my friend came outside because she was about to get ready to go home. And he asked me for my phone number. And of course, I've always, in a sense, been some type of feisty. So I was reluctant to give him my number, but I did. And if I would have known then what I know now, oh man, y'all. So anyway, gave him my phone number. We immediately started talking. So when I say I gave him my phone number, I did not have a cell phone at 15 to 16. My mom did not play that. I gave him our house number, and we started talking on the phone. Um, I'm sorry, y'all, for whatever reason, it's kind of like, I know why my window is open. It's I feel like the air is kind of stuffy in my room. And I just realized why, because the window is open. But we started talking on the phone, and the first thing he asked me was to um, go on a date with him. And I was like, okay, that's cool, like go on a date, go into the movies, whatever. So I asked my mom if I could go on this date, and my mom did not. She did not want me to go on this date. She looked at him and she was like, no. And I'm gonna tell y'all why she looked at him and she was like, no. He had tattoos, or he had a couple tattoos. He had a gold tooth, or gold. No, he had. Oh, it was all the top row. All his top row was gold, and y'all know, at this time, gold was having like gold teeth was a thing, honey. If you had gold teeth, like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So he had gold teeth. Gold teeth. What's wrong with me? He had gold teeth, y'all. He had tattoos. You could tell that he was older. I think at the time I was 15, 16, 17. So he was either 18 or 19 at the time, and my mom did not want me dating older guys, but I've always dated older guys. She's just never liked it. And then I'm not gonna cap y'all. His bottom row was it was it wasn't like his bottom row was like his teeth were never crooked, but the discoloration. And I really just thought that was from the goals. I don't know. I ain't never had gold teeth. I don't plan on having gold teeth. Let me take the back. I have a grill, but it's cute. It's elegant. It's not it's not that. So yeah, she was like, "No, I don't want you dating him. Rita, look at him, and this is not your type of guy you want to date, etc., etc." My mom was not having it. She was just not having it. I begged and begged and begged, and she agreed. Right? She finally agreed. Um, and prior to him, I had only dated like two people. One was a guy that I met during a summer job that I had, or it was really like a volunteer job at the science place. I loved working there. And then the other guy was this guy who I know my mama just wanted to choke the heck out of me my freshman and my sophomore year for this one guy that I dated. Cause Lord, I took this lady through the ringer. Mama, I'm sorry if you're watching this. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, sorry, sorry. But I took my mama through the ringer while I was dating this guy my freshman year and a little bit of my sophomore year. I probably say like 2 months into my sophomore year. After that, me and my mom had so many different run-ins behind this one guy. I was just like, it's just not worth it. I just got the 86 this whole man. If y'all want that story, because there's a story there that I've never shared with anybody. But if y'all want the story about my high school um, freshman year love, let me know and I'll be more than happy to share that with y'all. But anyway, first day he asked me to go to the movies. I was excited. Um, we ended up, he came down, he got dressed, came down. He had went and bought flowers from the store, which I thought was really, really cute. And then he like literally came downstairs, knocked on the door, asked to take me out. We left and we attempted to go to the movies, but the movie we wanted to see was sold out. And so we ended up coming back to his place, which was upstairs. I should have went home because the movie was sold out. However, I did not. I feel like I snuck upstairs because I knew I was supposed to be at the movies, but I wasn't. And so I snuck and went upstairs with him, and we ended up watching um, a movie upstairs. And later, like maybe about an hour or two later, probably like 2 hours later, we went back home and I went downstairs, and that was pretty much it. Now I know y'all thinking that's like not, that's a cute little first day, really simple, right? Like what's the big deal? Well, the big deal is literally the next day he came downstairs and asked me if I wanted to come up and watch a movie again. And my mom told me no. She told me no. Couldn't do it. Well, I waited till my mom went to sleep, and I walked out of the front door and went upstairs to go and watch this movie with him. And as I'm going upstairs to go and watch this movie with him, he was like, he would drink beer. So Bud Ice was what he would drink. I always thought like, man, he's really young to be drinking beer, but I also thought it was cool because, I'm 16, he like 18, 19, and your boyfriend drinking beer. You think you're dealing with a grown man, whatever. You're really not. But I went upstairs and he was watching TV, and I sat down and I was watching TV with him, and I was ready to go. Like we weren't doing anything. I started to get bored, and I was like, I'm ready to go. And he's like, excuse my French, you too, but he was like, "Where the fuck you think you going?" And I kind of looked at him like, "What?" I'm like, "I want to go home. Like I'm about to go." And I got up to go, and he grabbed me like by my wrist, and he kind of pulled me down like, "No, stay." And I was kind of sitting there like, "Okay, okay." And so I stayed a little bit, and then he got a phone call from this girl, and I'm gonna give this like 5 more minutes. But the phone call came in from this girl, and the girl was like, hey, where you at? And he was like, I'm at my apartment. And she was like, come to my apartment and smoke with me. And he was like, all right, bet. And so I'm like, well, who you on the phone with? And he was like, my homegirl. I'm just gonna call the girl Shay. He was like, my homegirl Shay. He was like, I'm about to go to her house and smoke with her. And I was like, who is Shay? And he was like, my homegirl. And I was like, okay, well, I'm about to go. And he was like, no, the fuck you not. You gonna stay here. And I'm like, no, if you finna go smoke with your homegirl, like, I'm about to leave. So I had an attitude. I get up to try and go to the door, and he literally, like, gets in this rage, and he comes towards me. He grabbed me by my shoulders, like, by my shoulders, and he's pushing me back. And he was like, I told you you're not about to go no effing where. You fucking staying. And it shook me because this was my first relationship that I had ever been in where a guy had cussed me and a guy had ever really physically put their hands on me. So I was nervous as hell at 15, 16. Like, you don't know what to do. I don't feel like I was ever prepped or taught what to do in that type of a situation, and it showed. So yeah, he pushed me, he grabbed me by my wrist or by my arms, and he was like pushing me, shaking me like, you're not going no effing where. And I was like, okay, he got to be drunk. And so I waited until I heard the door close, and I felt like he was down the stairs, and I was like, all right, I'm just gonna leave then. And as I got up to go to his door to leave and go down the stairs, he turned around, and um he saw me coming down the stairs. And when I tell y'all, he was like in the courtyard because this girl lived in the breezeway across from us. But he was in the courtyard. And when I tell y'all, he sprinted from the courtyard back up the stairs and literally was like pulling me by my shirt at this point, back up the stairs into the house. And then he was like shaking me. He was like, I told you not to effing leave. And then he gets on top of me. He was like, you're not going nowhere. I told you you're not going nowhere. Um, and it shook me to my core. Like, I was stunned. I was stunned. I was shocked. I was scared. I was nervous. And he did it so much so to where, like, he was pushing on me, shaking me, that I lost my balance and I fell to the ground. And then he got on top of me. He's like, I told you you're not going no fucking where. I said stay here, don't fucking leave. And y'all, I was terrified. And I was terrified because if you saw the look in his eyes, like, it was like he hated me. Like, there was so much I don't even know the word. There was so much just hurt. Like, there was just so much hurt. You could see hurt. Like, so I literally, like, when he got off of me, I cried so bad because I was so scared. I wanted to simply go home, and I'm like, how can I not get home? And home is right downstairs. How can I not get home? And home is like right downstairs. And I cried and I cried and I cried. And I waited for about 15 minutes, and I was literally scared to leave this guy's house. And then I eventually, like 15 minutes later, after I kind of pulled myself together, I knew I needed to hurry up and get back downstairs because I left while my mom was sleeping. And my mom is the type of mom, she wakes up in the middle of the night and she checks the rooms to make sure everybody's in where they're supposed to be. The door is still locked. Like, she safeguards the house at night. And she does it, and I picked it up as an adult, and I still do it to this day. But I wanted to, like, get downstairs before she woke up and could notice that I was gone, and then I'm gonna be in even bigger trouble. And she for sure gonna put her hands on me. She gonna whoop me. So, and yes, at 15, 16, y'all, I was still getting whoopings because I was still very much doing things. So, 15 minutes later, I figured, okay, he's got to be at this girl's house now. He has to be smoking with her by now. Let me try and leave again. And this time when I left, I think what alarmed him that I was leaving the first time is because when I left, I closed the door as regular, but there's an echo, and I think he heard the echo of the door closing, which that's what prompted him to turn his head and shoot back up the stairs. So the second time when I got ready to leave, I remember like twisting the knob so that the little thingy goes inside, and I remember closing the door. And then like once I got out the door, y'all, I ran down the fucking stairs. I ran down the stairs. I went into my house. I had to twist the knob to make sure the little thingy wasn't poking out, to kind of close the door quietly, and then tiptoe back into my room. And I cried myself to sleep that night because I couldn't believe that that just happened to me. And I was so afraid to tell anybody, especially my brothers, because my brothers have always been super protective of me, and I knew that if I told them that, they was gonna hurt him. Like I was gonna be in trouble for sneaking out, but more so like I was afraid for what they were gonna do to him. And so that night I went into a room that I shared with my sister. Um, we had like two twin beds, and then there was like our TV was in the middle. But that night went into the bedroom with my sister, got in my bed, and cried myself to sleep. So that is that is how my whole domestic violence experience started. So that is part one of many. I don't know how long this series is going to run, but it's going to run to as long as it needs to run for me to get y'all to where I am present day, because that's just keeping it real. So I've always said to my supporters, my followers, my subscribers, it's hard for me to follow people on social media for the simple fact that I like people of substance. I like people who add value to my life. So when I start to follow someone and it's just content based, it's hair, it's clothes, it's shoes, it's nails, it's at some point that just doesn't hold any value with me. If I feel like I want to be invested in a person and not a gimmick, which is why I'm really doing this whole series, is because if you're going to invest in me and you're going to see me like get it out the mud for real, you got to know where I came from. You got to know where it all started. And I know that doing this series, a lot of people are not going to like the way that I paint them, but I'm a very real person, and I'm very true to when I say don't like the way that I painted you in my life, you probably should have been a better person to me. Your character is who you are. You can choose to be a better person. Your character can change. It's just dependent upon you. And I'm not responsible for the role you played in my life, so I'm not going to sugarcoat or hide anything. You were who you were to me. You did what you did to me, whether that's good or bad. And if how I'm portraying you, you don't like it, choose to be better. So with that, you guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop here. I have to get ready for work. But as always, you guys, I am wishing you a beat face, a snatch waist, and a lifestyle filled with grace. I hope that y'all always choose life. And I will see y'all probably tomorrow morning on part 2.